Hello everyone. So today we're going to be talking about personal finance, and not only personal finance, but the new stimulus bill contents, what is actually in the package. And on Monday, they voted on the $900 billion stimulus bill, and that included a second stimulus check. Congress is rushing to approve by the end of Monday a nearly 5,600-page bill that ties next year's federal budget to a collection of economic relief measures for individuals and small businesses, including a second stimulus check for up to $600 apiece.
I hate this house.
After weeks of back and forth negotiation,
we end up looking like a monkey fucking a football out there.
Congressional leaders have now made public the details of a $900 billion COVID-19 stimulus part of the bill. Once the House and Senate approve of the bill and Donald Trump signs into law, the new stimulus package will send a second stimulus check of up to $600 to qualifying adults and their dependent children, but not dependent adults.
Duty. I got something to do. I got to go do boom, boom, boom.
It would also renew a handful of government benefits set to expire starting this week, including federal unemployment financial support, rental assistance, and an eviction ban. Here are the key issues on the economic stimulus package Congress leaders have agreed on, including the funding it provides, like a second stimulus check, and what is left behind. This story updates often with new information. A second stimulus check for $600 a person,
That's it. Getting me mallet.
and the new economic relief bill, which Congress just merged with funding for the next year's federal budget, will send a second stimulus check topping out at $600 for each eligible adult and a flat sum of $600 per qualifying child aged 16 years and younger. That's a change from the cap of $1,200 per adult and $500 per child dependent from the first round of payments.
They came all over the place.
Individuals will receive a full $600 if their AIG is under $75,000. Then their payment will start to decline as their yearly income goes up. For heads of household, the AIG is $112,500, and for those married and filing jointly, for the number is $150,000. Here's the thing. $600 for a rich person doesn't matter, and $600 for a poor person doesn't matter. $600 is going to go relatively quick, and especially since you've had so many different people sitting on lockdown in various states, and it's so erratic as to who's suffering the most. Here in Florida, we be jamming, we have people working, and we are in and out of stores. We are living life. People are opening up, and we are back to work. But for other Democrat-owned states and counties, it varies heavily. Some places are right now on lockdown.
Go. You know the thing.
Do those people who've suffered many lockdowns, do those people get any compensation? We ran a story here not too long ago where an older lady literally wanted to be euthanized because she didn't want to go through another 2 weeks of COVID lockdown. People are tired of all of this, and it gets old pretty fast, but it's been going on for quite some time now. We don't think the numbers require what they've been doing, and the economic impact is worse than the disease itself.
I'm not going nuts.
But we read on. $300 per week in federal unemployment benefits. The CARES Act, passed in March, gave $600 per week to people who are out of work on top of their usual state unemployment check. When this funding lapsed at the end of July, President Donald Trump signed an executive action to pay $300 per week bonus. That money will run out by December 31st. And here's your evil dictator.
Stop raising!
Here's your evil person.
Stop raising!
On top of the unemployment money they were already getting, the man was willing to give everyone $300. We asked the question why anyone even gets $300 when they already have a set income doled out by the government. We didn't see any massive increases in gas. We didn't see any massive increases in the amount that you have to spend in the store for groceries. There were not too many hikes that we could speak of. So when they're on a set income and rent stayed the same, Their lease stayed the same. Everything across the board stayed the same. But they're still getting money. We almost consider that an essential worker. Because there's people out there that didn't have unemployment, that didn't have any kind of welfare, and they didn't have any kind of job. So they literally had nothing. So $600 is not going to do a lot. And we kind of agree with the idea that maybe you shouldn't evict someone. Normally, as a conservative, we would say, well, evict them. They didn't pay their bills. Evict them, get them out.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
But in this situation, it was caused by the politicians themselves when they locked people down. I don't expect anyone to go outside and go get a job in a lockdown. We try to live life as normal as possible here, and it's almost impossible to live a normal life when everyone around you is not living a normal life. You almost have to adapt to the situation. But again, this is your dictator. This is your totalitarian. So inhumane that he gives $300 on top of an already fixed income. That's enough to get by on what they already have. We knew a few people that got a whole slew of money, that they were not used to having that kind of money dropped in their lap after this happened. And we agree that the $600 per person is not enough. There's not enough meat on those bones. That's going to go quick. But I guess we could all sit back and say, well, it's better than nothing. Another bullet point here that's actually very important that I think everyone should read this part. No liability protection from COVID-19 lawsuits this time. A major sticking point through the summer and fall was that the Republican legislators have supported limiting COVID-19 liability to guard against lawsuits against businesses, schools, hospitals, and other organizations from people who said these institutions caused them to acquire the coronavirus. Except for incidents of gross negligence. But the Democrats have balked at the plan. But we do kind of agree here that all of these places should have liability, some type of insurance, some type of coverage for these people who are going to come out and do lawsuits. And we've said before, with these things that we put on our faces, we don't want to say the word, and YouTube will trigger YouTube, and we will be not having a video, but these things that we put on our faces, these communist diapers, all of these companies are going to be sued into oblivion in at least the next 5 to 10 years. And it's because of microfiber inhalation. You're going to get more of that. We don't wear our clothes on our face traditionally. That would do the same as what we're doing here. And we think that we're going to get a lot of cancer lawsuits one day. And it's going to open up a lot of litigation. There's going to be a lot of problems going down the road when it gets to that point. And just like that, you have to protect everyone that's going to be involved. And they'll probably work that way into covering for the harness-wearing face cuck maker.
Okay.
But we read on. The coronavirus liability shield, along with the money for state and local funding, has been broken off into a separate piece of $160 billion legislation. The final stimulus bill in 2020 wouldn't include this, but that discussion could pick up again in 2021. Quote, we all know the new administration is going to be asking for another package, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said December 15th. Quote, we can live to fight another day on what we disagree on, but we all agree to go forward on what we can agree on. And that is a way forward. So in other words, you have to go ahead and get along, right?
How about new?
Never mind that they've stabbed the Republican Party and the right-wing ideology in the eye. Never mind that they spit in the other. Never mind that they'll get rid of you the second they get a chance, Mitch.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
But again, we don't really care that you passed this relief package, but we're happy that it's done. Again, this is a big waste of everyone's time. Just get it done. You're going so slow at such a snail's pace, it doesn't matter how much you give us. At this point, it's what's already done economically is already done. People who have lost their business, that $600 doesn't mean anything. Do you think they're going to be able to buy their business back with that $600?
You're ugly. You are disgusting. I'm going to kill you. Give me $200.
Again, what's done is done. Extend payroll protection program to cover employee wages. The payroll protection program initially provided forgivable loans to a small business as a way to help cover worker wages so they wouldn't have to lay off employees. The new bipartisan proposal would add $284 billion to the Paycheck Protection Program for small businesses forgivable loans. The bill would target aid for businesses especially hit hard by closures, including nonprofits, restaurants, and live venues. And again, timing was a really concerning problem. While they're sitting in Washington haggling, arguing, doing their normal politics, and Pelosi did a wonderful job of it actually coming out in the news. She was on live TV saying, well, we had to play politics. We had to hold this over because we didn't get the policies that we wanted in the initial bills that were put out there. And you want to know what her policies were? A bunch of climate junk. Do that later. Find another venue to worry about later, but right now concentrate on this endeavor. And they didn't worry about that. And whether or not the cooties is or is not, just understand that the economic impact and the insanity of people that are out here now running around acting like crazy communist government followers, sheep if you will, the amount of all of that going on is getting ridiculous. But we read on. The new Renew and Eviction Ban Renter Assistance. The CARES Act established a nationwide ban on evictions for renters who were late on their rent. When that was set to expire, Trump extended the ban. But that extension, too, is set to expire at the end of the year. The new bipartisan bill would extend federal eviction moratorium through January 31st, 2021. It would also help guard against evictions by providing $25 billion to state and local governments to help qualified renter households pay for rent and utilities. According to this summary of the bill, quote, assistance would be prioritized for renter households whose income do not exceed 50% of AMI, local area median income, as well as renter households who are currently unemployed and have been unemployed for 90 or more days. Financial assistance provided under this section is not taxable for households receiving such assistance. And we kind of agree with this. Again, if people didn't lock them down, renters and the leasees would be able to pay their bills. You can't expect anyone to pay their bills when you've made them stay inside their home.
I got kids on the way, and I'll be damned if I'm going to raise them in a world run by these Nazi assholes.
Not everybody is learning to code like Joe Biden's saying. Not everybody has a job where they can do it at home. Matter of fact, a large majority of the population, we would actually say would probably about 70% of them, are going out places to work at. They can't work out of their home. Democrats live in this ideology that everybody can sit in front of a computer and do their job, but you can't do that. What about landscapers, roofers, masonry? What about all these different corporations to put mass production together? Those people can't do it sitting in behind a computer. Somebody has to fly somewhere to do something. Someone has to drive the machine. Someone has to destruct the building that needs to be rebuilt. Somebody has to build the building. And when you're locking them in their home, they can't do that. And they can't pay their bills. And it seems pretty obvious that all of this stuff should have been done a lot faster. And again, the reason why it's not done faster is because of Congress. They are the divining rod when it comes to government money. And if they're not doing it fast enough, that's on them. Not Trump, not the Senate, not anybody else. Pelosi came out herself and said it was not good enough for her liking. So we all had to suffer. Everyone needs to keep that in mind.
They will have to be accountable.
As we read on, it says here funding for healthcare and coronavirus vaccinations. With the U.S. offering its first wave of coronavirus vaccination, the proposals turn toward funding distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine. The bipartisan proposal would provide $16 million for vaccine development and distribution, along with funding coronavirus testing and contact tracing efforts. So probably getting more of the same. You know, they're going to test everybody, and then if you have a fever, they're going to try to lock you in your home and tell you not to go anywhere, self-quarantine. And we've said this before, if there's a surge and you're wearing the mask, you're social distancing, you're locked down, and in the media you can still hear the word surge, then obviously it's either political or it is just not working. You pick what you believe. Money for schools, childcare, and food assistance. Funding for education has been a part of proposals for more economic assistance going back to May. The new bipartisan bill sets aside $82 billion for education and $10 billion for the child care. The bill also includes $13 billion for the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, SNAP. So a lot of people are going to get food stamp money, and that's good for that, and that's going to continue. We're not too much into the socialistic tendencies. We believe everybody should go out and get their own, but we've seen some families that actually need this assistance. And it goes back to a lot of medical issues, a lot of problems that are unforeseeable, that a lot of us healthy people don't really have to deal with, and we're very fortunate to be able to work for them. Lucky for us that we have these type of things continuing on, and we like that they spend $82 billion for education. That's a win for as far as all of us go. For everyone out there that is running around saying, oh, it's dangerous for children to go to school. The CDC and the WHO themselves have said that this is a no-brainer that children should go back to school. Dr. Fauci, on the onset of all this, never thought schools should have been closed. So it's a no-brainer for anyone to just give up on the argument of, ooh, it's bad for everyone to go to school. But we read on, state and local aid money. Not this time. The bipartisan proposal would split off $160 billion for state and local aid into the package with liability guards. The intention is that Congress would consider the two areas of conflict separately from the bill focused on economic relief. But again, folks, we think this whole coronavirus bill thing, if they moved it a little faster, maybe it would be a little bit different for us. If you were to be able to already have signed maybe 3 or 4, then we would actually be okay with that a little bit. But what they're doing is so slow and so little that it doesn't make a whole lot of difference economically speaking. And if you're going to give out anything, give things out to companies and businesses directly affected by the COVID economic attack. Because some businesses aren't essential. And these unessential businesses have been closed longer than all of y'all. Some of us work out of home. Some of us work out of home and then inside the home. In all of this lockdown nonsense, we were fortunate that half of our work is inside the home. So we're lucky enough to have something going in light of all of this mess. But all of it gets economically impacted. We're all hurt because of this nonsense. Get back to work. Don't let everyone tell you that this is the scary boogie monster that you should be afraid of. And ironically enough, if you stay at home and you don't work, there are so many more repercussions that you are going to reap for yourself and your family than anything that they can come up with in the media to fearmonger and doom porn you. Anyway, you folks have a wonderful afternoon, a good morning, a good night, whichever. Please like, share, and subscribe. We really do appreciate that around here. Also, drop a comment down below. We like to talk with you. We like to pick your brain. And if you have any ideas for new videos, drop a line below. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell. If you don't hit the notification bell, you might have a problem getting our videos. God bless each and every one of you. See ya.